Happy Friday! Welcome back to Drinking by Myself. My name's Emma, and in this video I'm going to tell you 50 things about me that I bet you don't know. So I got this idea because I watched a video on Ali and Sam's channel. So Ali and Sam are this couple who I love watching their YouTube videos, and Sam did a solo video where she talked about 50 things about herself, and I just really enjoyed watching it. I was watching it last night and I was like, I'm going to do that. But I challenged myself to write down 50 things that I don't think I've mentioned in any video before. I might be wrong because I've been doing these videos for a while and I do talk a lot, but I bet you don't know any of these things. Comment below if you already knew any of these, and then I failed. So this is in literally no order. This is just the order that I thought of them in and then wrote them down. So number one, I might literally already fail here because I wrote this list last night, but reading it back this morning, I'm now pretty certain I've talked about this. But I've had laser eye surgery. So I wore glasses from when I was 8 years old. At first it was just to see the board in class, but then I got to the point where I basically needed to wear glasses the whole time, and I wore them non-stop until I was like 24, and then I got laser eye surgery, and it was one of the best things I've ever done because now my eyesight is so good. My eyesight now is even better than it was when I was wearing glasses. So much fun. I grind my teeth really badly and I get really bad jaw ache from it. So especially when I'm stressed, I can always tell, even if I haven't noticed that I've been stressed, because I'll start getting a lot of pain. I carry a lot of tension in my jaw, and then at night I grind my teeth like crazy. I had a lot of imaginary friends, and I mean a lot, when I was younger. I actually had a whole imaginary school. I also, as a child, invented a whole language. It was called Crayon, and I used to make my sister speak to me in it, even though I was constantly the one making it up, so she could never really keep up, and then I'd get really mad at her if she didn't understand what I was saying. We also were in a fake girl band. It was called the Chili Peppers, and the girl band spoke Crayon, so I wrote all these songs that were in my language Crayon, and we also had alter egos. So my sister was called Molly, and I was called Siobhan, because I'd seen the name Siobhan written down, I'd never heard it out loud, and I thought it was like the coolest, most unusual name I'd ever heard, and I thought it was pronounced Siobhan, so that was my pop star alter ego. My first pet was a rabbit. He was an albino Netherland dwarf rabbit called Snowman, and he had pink eyes, and I loved him, but he ran away. I don't think he liked me. I don't think rabbits like being pets. Okay, then I've put a TMI one. There are quite a few TMI ones coming up, so be warned. But this is the first one. I have a thing called a tortured colon, which means I am almost always in pain. It's fun. Back to some embarrassing childhood ones. I genuinely believed I was a fairy. When I was about 4, I guess, I really thought I was a fairy, and I used to sign my diary, Emelina, Queen of the Fairies, and I had this painting in my room of a fairy procession, and I thought I was the one in the front who was the queen. And I think my parents probably thought that was quite cute until they said apparently at night time, when I was saying goodnight, I used to be like, good night, I won't see you again because the fairies are coming to get me in the night. And I started to get really sad that the fairies weren't coming to get me, to take me away. So eventually they had to take me to a teacher at my school who had to sit me down and explain to me that I couldn't be a fairy because I wouldn't believe my parents. And I actually have a diary. I'm like, it's probably here. Hang on one second, I'm gonna go get it. It's amazing. Okay, I found it. So this is my secrets diary. So I was actually age 6, not 4, Emma, too old to believe that you're a fairy. And I wrote all these amazing secrets in it, like Sophie Alton is a fuzzbot. There's a really funny one as well, where I obviously was mad at my dad for something, because I'd drawn a picture of both my parents, and I put, Daddy is lovely, Mummy is lovely, and then later in a different pen, it's crossed out, horrid Daddy. Don't know what he did. Anyway, there was a reason I got this book. Okay, so at one point in this diary, I'd drawn a picture of a fairy and I'd written, I am a fairy. And then a few pages later, I obviously had had my chat and learned the truth. I drew a picture of a fairy crossed out, and it says, I'm not really a fairy. Heartbreaking stuff. Okay, moving on. I have kissed Rupert Grint. He's now having some other bitch's baby, but I kissed him first at Reading Festival 2009 in the silent disco tent. I have to wash my hands a lot when I'm cooking or eating, so I have a really strong aversion to the feeling of food on my hands. So if I'm cooking anything that's really hands-on, like if you're, when you have to get your hands into a mixture to make things, I will wash my hands about 4 times during that process, even though I know I'm literally going to the sink, washing my hands, and then going back and putting them back in again, but I can't have that feeling on my hands for too long without washing them. I get the same thing if I'm eating like a packet of crisps or something, so anything like Doritos where you get the dust on your fingers, I will wash my hands multiple times through eating the packet. My childhood nickname was Fish Face, so that's nice to know. I have 20 cousins. That's a lot of cousins. I once wrote a Taylor Swift musical. True story. I was obsessed with Taylor Swift ever since she first got famous, really, and I wrote a musical. So kind of like how Mamma Mia is a musical using all of the ABBA songs, I wrote this story that used all the Taylor Swift songs. At that point, she only had 2 albums, so it was just made up of songs from those first 2 albums, and the story was literally just the story of The Notebook. It wasn't original at all, but I loved it, and I would listen to the songs in the order that I'd put them in, and I would play through the story in my head and just cry. I have a vendetta against Ed Sheeran. I don't know what he's ever done wrong to me, other than I don't like his music and I find him annoying. I think the main thing also is that one year at Festival, about 8 years ago, he was playing and The Cure were playing. And I wanted to go and watch The Cure because I love The Cure. And all of my friends I was with wanted to go see Ed Sheeran. So they did. They went to see Ed Sheeran over The Cure. And I had to go by myself to The Cure. And I got blisters, which wasn't my friend's fault, wasn't Ed Sheeran's fault. But in my head, all of that is linked because I remember dancing to The Cure by myself, my feet bleeding, and being like, I hate Ed Sheeran. I have delayed sleep phase disorder, also known as permanent jet lag. So I thought I had insomnia my whole life. I've always been a really, really bad sleeper. And then about 5 years ago, I got diagnosed with delayed sleep phase disorder, which has been life-changingly amazing because it turns out I don't have insomnia at all. I just have a weird sleep cycle. So now I take melatonin, I go to bed early and I go to sleep straight away, and it's amazing. At school, I was called Lemon for years, and I actually really miss it. Even like my Facebook profile, my name there was Lemon, or I'd be called Lemmy or Lemony Snicket, Heavenly Lemonly, Slemmy. And it's funny thinking about it because every now and then I get this pang of really missing my name being Lemon. Maybe I should rebrand myself. I hate peanuts. That's not an interesting one, but I've written it down. But I hate peanuts so much. They make me want to be sick. Oh, here's a weird one. Talking of being sick, cartoons make me feel car sick. I don't know why. It's not all cartoons, because Disney films I'm fine with. It's TV show cartoons that are made for adults. I don't know what it is about them specifically, but I can tell. If I'm in the next room and someone is watching something that's a cartoon, I can tell it's a cartoon because the sound is different. RG loves cartoons, so he'll be watching like Rick and Morty or Bob's Burgers or Archer, and if I hear it in the next room, I can tell it's a cartoon and I feel travel sick. My childhood teddy bear is called Baba, and I stole him from my sister. He was hers. She named him Baba because she thought he was a sheep, so she called him Baba. And we used to share a room when we were very small, and one night she chucked him out of bed in her sleep, and I rescued him, and then I wouldn't give him back ever. And he's still mine. He still sleeps on my bed. I forgot to bring him down into isolation, and I really miss him. You all know my dog's name is Hippo, but did you know that it is short for Hippolyta? And it was actually my cousin Charlie's idea when his family got a dog years and years ago, back when we were teenagers. He wanted them to call it Hippolyta, Hippo for short, and I thought that was such a cool idea. But then I wanted to call my daughter, when I had one, a human daughter, Hippolyta, Hippo for short. So we compromised and called the dog Hippo, even though I actually just stole that name from my cousin anyway. My sister and I both discovered recently that we have the same favourite toe. A lot of people don't even have a favourite toe, but we do. And I'll tell you which one it is. It is the middle toe. To find out why, I want you to do an experiment. Take off your shoes and touch the toe right next to your big toe. Doesn't that feel like the middle one? That feels like it should be the middle one, but it's not. The one over is the middle one. That one feels like it's all the way at the end, but it's not. It's the middle. I always find that a really strange feeling, and so that's why it's my favourite toe. And then my sister told me that the other day, and I was like, oh my god, me too. How have we never spoken about it? I'm genuinely afraid of children and babies. I want to have children, but they properly scare me. My heart will start beating faster if there is like a 3-year-old around, because I don't know how to talk to them. I don't know what to say. I don't know if they're going to ask me questions or hurt me. Even older children, even like 9 or 10-year-olds, genuinely they make me scared. It's the weirdest thing. I have like literally once run away from a child in the park who came over like very politely to ask Argy and I a question about, I think she just wanted to know what kind of dog Hippo was, and Argy started answering like a normal human, and I instinctively started running, and Argy had to come after me and be like, what is wrong with you? I exaggerate all the time, and I don't see the problem in this. I get teased about this all the time by my friends and family, the fact that when I tell a story, I exaggerate it, but in my head, it's not like I'm lying. It's like if you say, oh, I'm so full, I ate 1,000,000 brownies. Everyone knows you didn't eat 1,000,000 brownies. That's just how you tell a story. But apparently the way I do it is wrong, because apparently I exaggerate, like, not quite enough, so people think that I'm just saying the literal truth. And in my head, I'm like, I was obviously making the story more interesting to make it funny for you. Anyway, I get teased about it all the time, so just know, take anything I say with a pinch of salt. I'm always exaggerating, but I always think that you know that. Oh, TMI again, another really TMI one. I don't really sweat, but I do sweat out of my hands and feet. So my sister says my hands feel always like a damp sponge. And then on that note, and probably linked to it, my feet are always itchy, and I love having people scratch my feet. Oh, while we're still talking about my feet, my little toes are disgusting. So sorry to people who have foot phobias. My little toes are really gross because they're really, really small, and the nail is like so tiny that you're like, does she even have a toenail? It's gross. Why have I even written this? This is not interesting. I used to have double F boobs, I've written, but I don't anymore. They got smaller, which is good because now I can actually afford bras again without having to go to like special shops for big boobs. Oh my god, Emma, I wrote this late last night. What is wrong with me? This is the biggest TMI. Can I put that on the internet? Okay, moving on. I don't really watch TV. I just watch YouTube. I've got lots of shows that I love, but it is actually genuinely so rare that I will watch a film or watch TV. I just watch YouTube all the time. I do, though, listen to music all the time, and I mean really all the time. If I'm not actively doing something else, I have to be listening to music. I listen to music in the shower. I listen to music while I'm getting dressed, while I cook. If I'm editing a video, I'll like pause the music while I'm working on the timeline, but then if I have to pause for like 3 seconds to go and get a clip from somewhere, I will actually go to the Spotify tab, put my music back on before going to get the clip, dragging it back in, and then go and pause Spotify. It literally can be like 3 seconds of music. I'm really, really scared of the sea. I don't go in the sea. I actually did go in the sea last time we went on holiday because I was trying to do a thing where I confronted my fears, but I really, really am scared of it. Oh, I have Gilbert syndrome. That's a fun one. It's a liver problem, but the doctor said that it was fine for me to keep drinking, so cheers. I don't really know how to paint my own nails, but I love having painted nails, and I get gel nails every 2 weeks, which is such an indulgence. It's so expensive, but it's my treat, and I love it. And I'm really, really missing it because my nails have been naked the whole time I've been in isolation. I can't fix it because I can't really paint them. Okay, the next one I put down is really hard to describe. I've just written down the body tingly thing when I'm getting ready for bed. So when I'm getting ready for bed, because I have like a routine that I've done every night always, it's like my body knows what step's coming next. So it's like as I'm getting undressed, if I take off my tights, next I feel like round here tingles, so I know it's time to take off my bra. And then like my teeth start tingling, so I know it's time to brush my teeth. And then my face tingles, so I'm like, time to wash my face. It's weird. When I get bored, I get really panicky and I have to like talk to myself and say, you won't be doing this boring thing forever, don't worry. Oh, this is a good one. My body has to be even. So if somebody taps me on one side of my body, I have to tap myself on the other. Sometimes I get stuck in this weird little spiral where if I don't feel even enough, I then have to like touch the middle of each bit of my body. So like the middle of my palms, the middle of the back of my neck, the middle of the top of my head. My middle names are Elizabeth Delalo, and I don't really know how to pronounce Delalo, but I think it's how I said it. I also don't really know what my initials are because Delalo is technically 3 words. It's like French, de la lo. So is my initial D or L or DLL? And also my name has changed a lot. So when I was born, I was just Emma Elizabeth Alton, and then the Delalo got added in when I was about 2. I think my parents decided to give me that because it was a family name. Then I got married and I actually changed my name to Argy's surname, but then I instantly realised I didn't want to have done that. I liked my name. I didn't like having changed my identity. So I just went back to using my name, but it was only this year that I finally actually got it legally changed back. So I've had quite a few names. I went to boarding school when I was 11, and I actually went to the boarding school that Mallory Towers was based on. So yes, I am very, very lucky. I had a very lucky childhood, and I absolutely loved boarding school. My mum was my headmistress. I can't tan. My skin can't tan. I can't walk past a mirror without looking in it. I have very, very high self-esteem, which should be a good thing, but when I was a teenager, I actually had to go and talk to the school counsellor because it was causing me problems, how high my self-esteem was. Yeah, it's an interesting problem to have. I have 9 piercings currently, as well as 5 extra holes from where piercings used to be. I really like very weird combinations of food, like cheese and ice cream. Or back when I ate meat, I used to really like tuna mayo with beef mince chili. Or like baby bells with tara masalata. I've done 10 escape rooms, and I will happily do more. I've visited 32 countries, including England. Again, I know that's so incredibly lucky. I may never visit another country again because we're all stuck here now, but I've really enjoyed the travelling I have done. If I have a fight with somebody, but then they apologise, I'm instantly over it. I don't hold grudges at all, I'm totally fine. But if somebody doesn't apologise, I will be mad at them for the rest of my life. Even if what they've done was so small and petty, if they don't apologise, I will never get over it. Sorry. I used to be properly addicted to Diet Coke. So when I was at uni, I would go and buy those crates that had like 12 in them, and then by the end of the day, I would have drunk them all. Now I can't even finish a full can. I can only drink a bit, but I do like having a little bit every day. I try not to have every day though. And then finally, I love to talk about myself. That one is definitely pretty obvious. I'm sure you already knew that. If you're still here, I'm so impressed. That was a lot of me talking about myself, but I would love to know if you already knew any of those. So comment below if you already knew them. Have I told you and forgotten, or did you just assume any of those? And also, if you want to, I would love people to comment below a fact about them that's surprising, because I love hearing those kind of weird little quirks that people have. I've got a whole playlist of videos like this. They're just about getting to know me better as a person, so I will link it there so you can browse through. And I'll see you guys next time.